Hello everybody. I'm going to be showing you today how I made my Liquid Love Brewing Company coasters. You can see I have 4 of their beers listed: Sad Thugs Sour Ale, Do a Kickflip Ale, Dear to Heart Pills, and IPA, Double Dry Hopped IPA. So I'll be giving you a rundown on how these are made and how they're sealed so they don't have moisture damage them. But first, before I can do a beer craft, better have a beer. I still had a little bit of my last beer left. I got a little ahead of myself, I think. Should probably finish this one, then I'll do a nice pour. We are making coasters today. Let me show you what you're gonna need. First of all, I ordered in bulk Scrabble tiles. Now, Liquid Love Brewery has a whole table that's just board games for people to play while they're there drinking. I thought doing something board game related would be really fun for them. What I did with all these Scrabble tiles, because I bought a lot of them. I have a ton left over, so you'll be seeing these again at some point. What I decided to do was to go through and pick some of their beers that had smaller words, obviously, because I could only go 5 across. This is a baggie of just the letters I need for this project. I will admit, pulling out the letters I needed was time consuming. I'm gonna slide some of this out of the way so that I can get to going here. Oh, but I am gonna keep myself a nice IPA coaster to house my happy little beer. I have my pre-done tiles. Other things you're gonna need for this craft: cutting board. You're gonna need this to cut the cork off the edges of the coasters, as well as a nice little utility knife. I also have a sanding pad. I'm going to be using some Mod Podge. Got my trusty handy dandy little paintbrush here too. It's medium firm bristles. I find that's a little easier because the Mod Podge is a little gummy when you're, well, it's glue. I mean, come on. I also have just a little bit of twine to tie them up all pretty when they're all finished. So that's the rundown of the stuff that I'll be using today. Oop. Set that out of the way. And I am gonna get to laying out my tiles. Oh, first, cheers. Lovely. One more Y in here somewhere. I'm sure you guys all see it and you're shouting at your screen for me to find it because it's right in front of my face, because that's how that usually works. There it is. Next is our Dear to Heart Pills. So D, E, I'm pretty sure right about now I'm gonna cut away so you don't actually have to listen to me spell out every single word that's going on these coasters, because otherwise I totally will. Well, I'm going to anyway. You're just not gonna hear it. Have fun. Take a drink. You're good. Ooh, that tile is shaped funny. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. I like it. Welcome to Imperfectly Me Crafts. I do not believe there's any such thing as perfect. And I kind of like the little differences that happen when you just kind of throw perfect out the window and see where you end up. I have laid out the proper number of tiles, and I can now get started on the actual project. Oh, and I just realized I forgot something downstairs and didn't tell you about it either, and it's a kind of an important thing. So I'm gonna run and grab that. Important thing that you do need for this: cork coaster pieces I purchased online. They have a sticky back that you can peel and stick. I'm not relying on that for all adhesion for the coasters, just because I made Scrabble coasters for a table at my wedding as well. My mother asked to keep the Scrabble coasters, and after a while, the sticky on here didn't hold up. The tiles started coming off, so she super glued them down herself, which is fine, but I'd like these to last a little longer. You'll want 4 of these for the project. Recommend the square ones. If you're trying to stick Scrabble tiles on a round one, you're gonna have some issues. I'm going to start in one corner of the coaster so I can line up the tiles as best as possible. I am simply going to take the very first letter. Oh, no, wait, Sad Thug starts with a blank. Take my very first tile, and I'm gonna line it up with my forefinger and thumb in the top corner and try to get it as straight on the edge as possible. So that's pretty good. Just kind of squeeze it on there. Like I said, I'm going to use, I'm actually going to be using the Mod Podge as extra adhesive to this and then sealing the whole thing. So that's going to help it stay real strong, real good. Which means it's now time to break out the Mod Podge. Take a nice dollop of paint, of Mod Podge, not paint. This is Mod Podge. Don't use paint. It won't work very well for you. And I'm actually just going to go right along the edge of one side, and then after that it's going to be an S. So I take my S, and again I use my finger to line it up on the back, and then press it into place when I know it's straight against the top of the cork. Nice thing about this, because the Mod Podge is wet and because this doesn't stick as well, you can pull them right off and then place them again if you're not happy with your first placements. Now obviously you can make your tiles say whatever you want them to say, but I do recommend having kind of a layout before you get going. Otherwise, you'll put letters down wrong. I am speaking from experience. And we're going to assume I'm not going to say anything interesting for the next few minutes and speed ahead for you. There is the first finished square. Okay, we're gonna bring in some new tools now. I'm gonna keep the Mod Podge out because I'm going to need it momentarily, just because I'm showing you the full process on one of these first. All right, so I've got my cutting board, I've got my utility knife. I highly recommend trying to keep your knife straight up and down along the edge. I'm going to press this down. I'm going to keep the blade as up and down as I can and keep it as close pressed to the tiles as possible. The biggest problem I had, and I'm going to show you on this one, if I keep going and just pull it straight down, when it gets to the very end, you'll see it actually tears a little corner. And you do not want that to happen when you're cutting your second side, because that corner is going to be under one of the tiles. What I've found to combat this, go ahead and start the cut, carefully of course, and then just place one finger on the sticky there. It makes it so it doesn't pop out and slice open that corner. You got a nice clean corner there. The cork, when you cut it, has some little flyaway things going over here. That's why I recommend any piece of fine grained sandpaper will work. I'm literally just tidying up some of those little things that are sticking off. I'm not like going for an exact perfect edge, because nah. I'm going to start doing a Mod Podge coat to the whole thing except for the cork bottom. So I'm going to start actually with the edges, focusing first on the cracks, because the cracks I want to make sure are sealed pretty tight, because I don't want extra liquid getting down in deep in there. I am pretty liberal with Mod Podge use, just because I really want those cracks to get filled in pretty well. That is a very large crack, so we're going for it. And then I just coat, and I coat the edges of the cork as well. I want to make sure the edges look uniform all the way around the coaster. I like how it looks better once it's sealed than when it's just loose. Alright, sides are finished. So I'm going to set it down and get to the top. Focus on each of the four corners, making sure you're getting the Mod Podge nice down and deep in those little crevices. We'll start just with the cracks to fill those in as best you can. When it dries really clear, and you don't have to panic that you're gonna see every single brush stroke. That is literally one coaster made. Now I would just let it sit. But when the coaster fully dries, honestly, I see the wood grain and the cutting of the tiles more than I see the cutting I did. And like I said with the edges, this was one of the rough edges, obviously. But if I go like this, I'm not getting those little crumblies like I was before, because we sealed the edge. Makes it a heck of a lot better. I'm going to share with you what we are drinking tonight. I was back at Liquid Love 2 days ago and was told that they had a new beer coming out. And I went and picked myself up a 4-pack as soon as it came out. So, Liquid Love, and this is called Button Pusher. It's an Indie Pale Ale with Citra, Cryo Citra, Simcoe, and Strata. Now, those of you that watch my brewery tours know that IPA isn't usually my first go-to as far as beers go. However, I tried this one there, and their use of these hops was really nice. They're not crazy overpowering, and they have this hazy, juicy, a little bit dank kind of flavor to them. I thought it was lovely. So, this one, ooh, there it goes. No alcohol abuse on this channel. I think I just ate some Mod Podge. So, anyway, ooh, bubbles. Let me give this a quick pour here. Before any of you are saying that I'm ruining this by pouring it into a glass that already had a beer in it, I may have had one of these exact kind of beer already, because yummy. So first of all, really nice pour. Second of all, really nice color. Super hazy. It looks like a milkshake IPA even, like that level of haze. Pretty beer. And it just smells so good. This is how I made the coasters. As you can see, Sad Thug Sour Ale, Do a Kickflip Ale, Dear to Heart Pills, and IPA, DDH IPA. Oh, what am I doing? Setting that on the table. Got coasters right here. And then just did the cute little bow and made it all pretty before gifting one to Tommy at Liquid Love. Obviously, I've made a couple extra. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I've been having fun kind of making them and enjoying my time. I'll figure out something to do with them. Yeah. And, oh, look at that. This one's ready to go. Making 4 I found takes me just under an hour or so. So it's not like a super intense craft. It's something that can be done with kids. It's something that can be done in an evening after work, like I'm doing it right now. It's kind of fun, kind of cute. People really like them, so there you go. We have our Liquid Love craft and how to make. Finish that pour. Nice big head on it. I couldn't finish pouring. Cheers, everyone. Have a good time. Let me know if you try this and what your coasters say, okay? Thank you so much. Tune in again next Thursday. A new video is coming out. This one's going to be Zoombier, Zumbier. There is an umlaut over the U. Nice little brewery in the Chicagoland area. Highly recommended. We had a really fun time. Check it out. Okay? Cheers. Have a good night. Button pusher. Pushing all the right buttons. Delicious. I still don't know how to use coasters though.